Liam began pursuing me at 17, and didn't stop until I was 25. The night I became his girlfriend, we shared our first intimate moment. He swore he would always be good to me, but after that, he completely disappeared. I searched for him frantically. Then, outside a private room, I overheard his conversation with a friend. I never really wanted to pursue her. It was just a lost bet. I had no choice. After all those years of chasing, I thought she'd be a tough catch, but she was just, whatever. I didn't cry. I didn't make a scene. I just turned and left for a city without Liam. Later, I heard that the once arrogant Liam had gone mad, searching for his one true love. The private room fell silent for a moment. Outside the door, I froze. I even wondered if I was hallucinating from the lack of food and sleep over the past 2 days of searching for him. But then Liam spoke again, his tone even more dismissive than before. Actually, the person I wanted to pursue back then wasn't Chloe, but the campus belle, Olivia. At this, a collective O of understanding rippled through the room. The next second, someone asked, "Then why did you end up chasing Chloe? For 6 years. No less. Everyone knew about it. You even went to the same university for her." "Yeah, you have no idea. On one hand, people called you devoted. On the other, they called you a simp." Faced with his friend's confusion, Liam clicked his tongue and explained, "It was because I lost a bet. I was forced to." Chloe looked so innocent. "I thought I could get her in 3 days. I never thought it would take me this long. My whole youth is gone." "So that's what it was. I was wondering how a guy with your taste would ignore a beauty like Olivia and go for a plain Jane like Chloe." Liam gave him a light kick. "What are you talking about?" As his friend looked on, bewildered, Liam smirked. "Don't be fooled by how skinny she is. She's actually got a lot going on." Everyone in the room understood and laughed. Outside the door, my face went pale. The voices didn't stop. "By the way, speaking of Chloe, you have no idea. She's been going crazy looking for you these past 2 days since you disappeared. She even went through the dorm's trash cans. She was this close to calling the police." "Disappeared?" Liam seemed confused for a second. Then he laughed. "I was just out with Olivia these past 2 days. I turned off my phone because I didn't want to be disturbed." "Olivia, the Olivia." Several people looked at him in unison. Liam just grunted an affirmation. The next second, the room was filled with envious sighs. "Wow, that's our Liam. He even got the campus belle." Liam just smirked and said nothing. After a few seconds, someone asked cautiously, "Liam, since you're with the campus belle now, does that mean you're going to break up with Chloe? If you are, can I go after her?" The room instantly fell silent. Liam, who had been taking out his phone, paused. The smile on his face vanished, and he shot a cold glance at the person who had asked, "What? You like Chloe?" "No, no." The guy quickly waved his hands and explained, "I've never been in a relationship before. I'm afraid my future girlfriend will laugh at me for being inexperienced." So, you want to use Chloe for practice?" Liam finished the sentence for him. "Yes, that's what I mean." Liam raised an eyebrow and said nothing. The room fell silent again. Unsure of his mood, no one dared to speak. Only Liam, with a calm expression, turned on his phone, which had been off for 2 days. The moment it turned on, a cascade of notification sounds filled the air. He glanced at the messages on his screen, and then his long fingers started typing rapidly. He seemed to be replying to someone. The next second, the phone in my pocket vibrated. I bit my lip and took out my phone with trembling hands. There was a new message from Liam, whom I had pinned at the top of my chats. He said, "Babe, my grandpa suddenly got sick. I've been at my hometown these past 2 days. The signal here is bad, so I couldn't reply to you. I must have made you worry." Just then, I heard his nonchalant voice from the room. "Sure, when I'm done with her, you can have her. If you need any pointers, you can ask me." The atmosphere in the room immediately lightened. "Thanks, Liam." "Babe, I've missed you so much these past 2 days. Have you missed me?" "Babe, have you been eating well while I was gone?" "Babe, I'll be back as soon as I'm done here. Don't miss me too much." Liam's messages kept coming. In the 2 days I couldn't find him, I had desperately wished for a reply. But now, every word he wrote felt piercing, disgusting, so I decided to be like him. I didn't look, didn't reply, and even turned off my phone. After leaving the club, I wandered the streets aimlessly. In the end, I went back to the apartment I shared with him. The moment the lights came on, a flood of happy memories washed over me. In the tiny kitchen, Liam had made me soup and cooked for me. He would occasionally look back at me, a smile on his face, and say, "Babe, can you run down and get me a bottle of vinegar?" The next second, he would take off his apron. "Never mind, I'll go myself. What if my baby gets lost out there?" and before he left, he would plant a kiss on my forehead, saying playfully and possessively, "My baby, I can kiss you whenever I want." In a flash, his words from the private room came rushing back. Every word he said was a precision strike to my nerves. Tears I had been holding back finally streamed down my face. So it turned out that what everyone, including me, had seen as 6 years of love, 6 years of devotion, was just a game, a bet. The thought of him acting so deeply in love with me made me want to throw up. But I hadn't eaten in 2 days. There was nothing to throw up. I fell into a restless sleep that night. When I opened my eyes again, I thought I was hallucinating. I saw Liam. "Babe, you're awake." It wasn't until he turned around that I realized it wasn't a hallucination. Wasn't he with Olivia? I asked subconsciously, "What are you doing back? I messaged you last night. You didn't reply. I called. You didn't answer." Of course I had to come back and see if my baby had been kidnapped, Liam said, handing me a glass of warm water. Looking at the thoughtful gesture, I felt no warmth in my heart. Seeing that I didn't take it, Liam asked, "What's wrong?" "Nothing." Sensing my perfunctory tone, Liam understood. "Babe, are you mad at me?" He put down the water and reached out to hug me. I tried to dodge, but he was too strong. He pulled me into his arms. He whispered a playful explanation in my ear. "I heard from Ethan and the guys. You were worried sick while I was gone. I know I was wrong. I swear, from now on, wherever I go, whatever I do, I'll tell you in advance. It's just that this time, my grandpa's illness came on so suddenly. I was afraid that if I told you, you would worry too. Babe, don't be mad." "Okay." I listened to him quietly, in a daze. I couldn't tell which of his words were true and which were lies. It wasn't until he tried to kiss me that I snapped back to reality and pushed him away forcefully. "Don't touch me." Seeing that I was still not backing down, a flicker of annoyance crossed his eyes. "Didn't I explain everything already? It's not like I was with another woman behind your back. Why are you so angry? Do you know, to get back to see you last night, I drove all night and almost got into an accident, and when I got back, I didn't even rest. I made you porridge. What more do you want from me?" The moment our eyes met, I felt that this was the real Liam. Selfish, domineering, cold, a complete stranger from the man I first met. I knew him long before he knew me. I was 6, and my parents were in the middle of a divorce. They fought over the house, the car, the savings, even the dog, but they both agreed on one thing. Neither of them wanted me. I would skip going home after school every day and sit on an abandoned set of steps, quietly watching the sun go down, waiting for the darkness, waiting for the world to go quiet, waiting for my parents to suddenly realize I was gone and come looking for me frantically. I waited, but they never came. But one evening, as the sun was setting, a boy my age appeared. He was wearing a red sweater and stopped in front of me, curious. "Hey, are you playing hide and seek?" I looked up at him. Meeting my confused gaze, he asked again, "Want some candy?" He held out a colorful lollipop. I shook my head, then nodded. I didn't even know if I wanted it. He pressed the lollipop into my hand. "Let's play together," I asked. "Play what?" "Hide and seek. You hide first. I'll find you." We played like crazy that night. We both forgot to go home. I still didn't get my parents, and he was dragged home by an adult, his ear being pulled. After that, we never saw each other again. I thought it was just a small, insignificant episode, but when I was 17, that same boy called out to me again. This time, I knew his name. "Hi, my name is Liam. I like you. Will you be my girlfriend?" Bzzz. Liam's phone suddenly rang, breaking the tense silence and pulling me back to the present. "I have to take this call." Liam glanced at the caller ID, his expression flickering. He left the bedroom and went into the living room. A moment later, he was back. "Something came up at the company. I have to go." This time, his tone was softer. "There's porridge on the stove. It's still warm. You should have some." I looked at him without saying a word. Seeing this, Liam pursed his lips and left without another word. Before we got together, Liam was a rich kid who had never lifted a finger. He couldn't even figure out how much water to use when cooking rice. But for me, he even took a cooking class. I thought it was a bit of an overreaction, but he just pinched my cheek and said, "Anything that has to do with you is important, and if I do a good job, you'll never be able to get rid of me." The memory of how touched I was then now made me feel sick. Even though it was my favorite lotus seed and ate treasure porridge, I had no appetite. I poured the entire pot of warm porridge down the drain. "Chloe, you're applying to the Southern Branch office. Are you sure?" "Yes, sir, you were right. I'm still young and I need more experience. I'm not afraid of hard work." Facing my manager's question, I nodded firmly. Seeing this, he smiled with satisfaction. That's the spirit. Young people should be ambitious. Go ahead and hand over your work. You'll report to the branch office at the end of the month. There were only 5 days left until the end of the month. When my colleagues found out I was being transferred, they all said they would miss me, so I treated them to hot pot after work. Just then, Liam sent me a message. Babe, I have to work late tonight, so I won't be home for dinner. Reading his message, which was both a report and a request for leave, I couldn't help but sneer, because he was sitting in the private room right next to mine. The 2 rooms were separated by a screen. He wasn't alone. He was with a few of his best friends. And Olivia. Olivia was like a princess, surrounded by a group of men. Liam was sitting next to her, attentively serving her. His eyes were probably only for her, because he didn't notice me at all. They were chatting happily, with occasional bursts of laughter, until Olivia asked, Liam, it's been so long, but you're still so funny and charming. A talented guy like you. Does Chloe still not like you? The room fell silent. Everyone looked at him. I was also taken aback. Didn't Olivia know that Liam and I were together? Then it hit me. He always said he loved me, but after we got together, we never made it official on any social media. I had thought about it, but he had stopped me, saying, Babe, our relationship is between us. We don't need to announce it to the world. Seeing us so happy, some people might get jealous. His words had made sense to me at the time, and I wasn't the type to show off anyway. So, besides a few close friends, no one really knew we were together. Faced with Olivia's question, Liam neither confirmed nor denied it. He just grunted and said, Oh, man, this tripe is going to get overcooked. A few of his more perceptive friends quickly chimed in and changed the subject. In that moment, I knew that there was no future for us. Chloe, we're leaving now. After dinner, it started to rain. My colleagues all had someone to pick them up, but I was left standing there alone. Chloe. Just then, Olivia and Liam walked out of the restaurant. Olivia recognized me almost immediately. Liam, standing next to her, looked flustered when he saw me. He nervously pursed his lips. My gaze swept past him and landed on Olivia. Olivia, I feigned surprise. Chloe, long time no see. You're looking more beautiful than ever. You too. After the simple greeting between girls, Olivia instinctively glanced at Liam. Then she said to me, Chloe, are you heading home? It's hard to get a cab right now. Why don't you let Liam drive you? She winked at him. It looked like she was trying to create an opportunity for us. Liam just stood there, frozen. I smiled. No, thanks. My boyfriend is coming to pick me up. At my words, Olivia was shocked. Liam also frowned deeply. Okay, then, we'll be on our way. Olivia waved at me and then playfully hid under the umbrella Liam was holding for her. As they walked away, I heard her say, Liam, you missed your chance. She has a boyfriend now. After they were gone, I took a taxi back to the apartment. I only had a few days left before I had to report to the branch office, so I started packing as soon as I got back. I was halfway through when Liam suddenly burst in. He froze when he saw the suitcase on the floor. Babe, where are you packing to go? I kept my head down and didn't look at him. Seeing my silence, his expression softened. Babe, were you mad just now? Were you just trying to make me jealous? I wasn't trying to lie to you. I really was working late at the company. My colleagues can vouch for me. I just happened to run into Olivia after work, and since we're old classmates, we had dinner together. He reached for my wrist. I gently sidestepped him. His hand missed, and he looked confused. Babe, what's wrong? My face was blank. It was just dinner. Why couldn't you tell me the truth? Liam's voice was tinged with annoyance. I was afraid you'd overthink it. The room fell silent. He pursed his lips, then his expression softened. All right, Chloe, can you stop this? You were having dinner with other people too. That intern at your company has been staring at you. I didn't say anything, did I? When I met Liam at the restaurant, a few of my colleagues were just leaving. Among them was a new intern. This intern had been pursuing me since he started at the company. Before Liam and I got together, he had expressed his displeasure to me several times. Back then, he had held my hand, looking like a lost puppy. Chloe, don't like him. Like me. Okay. His voice was so soft and pleading. My heart had melted, and I had started to distance myself from the intern. Now, Liam was bringing him up. He was just trying to use jealousy to deflect from the Olivia issue. I wasn't an idiot. I could tell the difference between jealousy and a deflection. Since I had already decided to leave him, I didn't waste any more words on him. I finished packing and closed my suitcase. Liam panicked. Chloe, you've been packing all this time. Where are you going? Just because I had dinner with Olivia, You're going to move out over something so small. At his words, I couldn't help but sneer internally. To him, everything that had to do with me was small, so he could just disappear after we got together. He could lie to me without a second thought. He could spend 2 days and 2 nights with another woman behind my back. Even his lies were full of holes. I took a deep breath. The company is sending me on a business trip in a few days. He frowned. A business trip? Why so suddenly? You didn't mention it before. I looked him in the eye. I was going to tell you a couple of days ago, but weren't you taking care of your grandpa? A flicker of guilt crossed his eyes. He cleared his throat. Babe, what about your birthday? We were supposed to celebrate together. The day I had to report to the branch office was my birthday. When we first got together, he had promised to prepare a surprise for me. Now, it seemed that surprise would never come. He continued, how about we celebrate your birthday early? I found a new private restaurant. They serve all your favorite dishes. How about we go tomorrow night? Looking at his expectant gaze, if I hadn't heard what he said to his friends, I probably would have been fooled by his devoted act. I nodded nonchalantly. Whatever. The next day at noon, Liam excitedly pulled a new red dress from the closet. Babe, I got this for you a while ago. You'll look beautiful in it. At his urging, I changed into the dress and stood before the mirror. I didn't like red, and the dress was a little too big for me, but since I had already decided to break up with him, there was no point in arguing over these small things. He was still praising me. Babe, you look stunning in red. If my friends knew I got you, they'd all be so jealous. I smiled. Then why don't we make it official? His expression changed. He was about to say something when his phone rang. He looked relieved, glanced at his phone, and then frowned. Babe, you go ahead and do your makeup. I'll take this call outside. With that, he left the room. About 10 minutes later, he came back, looking anxious. Babe, something came up with a friend. I have to go and help him. You go to the restaurant and wait for me. I'll be there as soon as I'm done. Without waiting for my reply, he rushed out of the apartment. The moment he left, I received a text message. Chloe, meet me at the coffee shop outside our old high school. The message was from Olivia. I didn't understand why she would suddenly text me. After a moment of hesitation, I hailed a taxi and followed him from a distance. Sure enough, I saw his car parked in front of our old high school. The moment he got out, Olivia rushed out of the coffee shop and threw her arms around his neck. Liam, you're finally here. Then, she deliberately glanced in my direction. In that one look, I understood. Olivia had known about our relationship all along. She had just been putting on a very good act in front of him. She was wearing a red dress. It was very similar to the one he had given me that morning, with only a few subtle differences. He hesitated for a moment, but he still wrapped his arms around her and stroked her long hair. Didn't you say you were sick? Olivia blinked. I lied. I just wanted you to spend more time with me. When are we going on a trip again? The other day was too short. You were in such a hurry to get back. I didn't have enough fun. He had a helpless expression on his face. If you want to travel, just let me know. I'm always free for you. He playfully tapped her nose. Just don't say you're sick next time. I was worried. She smiled and nodded. They looked like a couple in the throes of new love, holding each other. They went into the coffee shop and shared the same cup of coffee. The owner, seeing them, even brought them a dessert. The minutes ticked by. The driver couldn't help but ask, "Who are those two?" I shook my head and said nothing. On my phone was my flight booking information. There was a flight to City A, where the branch office was. Tonight, I could still change my flight. I had wanted to say goodbye to him in a dignified way, but now, it seemed there was no need. Sir, can you take me to the airport? An hour later, I had checked in my luggage. As I was about to go through security, he called. I'm sorry, babe, my friend is going to take a little longer. Can you just wait for me at the restaurant? Before I could speak, I heard Olivia's voice on the other end. Liam, hurry up, the movie is about to start. His breathing hitched, and he quickly hung up. I didn't call back. I took out the SIM card from my phone and replaced it with the new one I had prepared a few days ago. Liam, from this day on, we will never see each other again. When the movie ended, Olivia finally lifted her head from his chest. Is it over? I knew I shouldn't have watched a horror movie. I didn't dare look up the whole time. Liam, it was so scary. I don't even remember the plot. Can you tell me what happened? But he didn't respond. When she looked up, she saw that he had been staring at his phone. Distracted, he was getting annoyed. Since that one call, Chloe hadn't sent him any messages. To him, she was incredibly clingy. During the 2 days he was gone, she had called him dozens of times and sent countless texts. He had been so annoyed that he had taken out his SIM card and replaced it with another one. But this time, after just 2 hours, he was feeling anxious. He didn't know if she had heard Olivia's voice. He thought she probably had, but he had already prepared a million excuses, like she had misheard, or Olivia was hurt and had no one else, or they had just run into each other by chance. No matter what he said, she would believe him. She loved him that much. Liam, hearing her voice, he snapped back to reality. What is it? She smiled. Where should we go tonight? You had your friends with you last time. Let's not invite them this time. I want to spend some time alone with you. She linked her arm through his. He instinctively pulled away. Not tonight. I have something to do. He had promised to celebrate her birthday with her early. She must be getting impatient at the restaurant. With that, he started to leave. She immediately called out to him. Liam, I came all this way back. Can't you just spend a little more time with me? You just said you were always free for me. He turned back and met her teary eyes. Back in high school, she was the campus belle. Her beautiful face, combined with that pitiful expression, would have been irresistible to him in the past, but for some reason, he was feeling a little panicked today. He refused. Next time. With that, he left the theater. Ignoring her calls from behind, he drove all the way to the restaurant. He had booked the entire place for the night, so even though it was late, the waiter was still waiting at the door. Mr. Mills, you're finally here, he asked anxiously. Where's Chloe? Well, the waiter hesitated. Mr. Mills, I've been here all day, and I haven't seen Miss Summers. How is that possible? He frowned. I told her to wait for me at the restaurant. The waiter shook his head. You booked the whole place today. We have a guest list, and I really haven't seen Miss Summers. He started to panic. He had been so preoccupied with Olivia that he had completely lost track of time. He now realized he was a full 4 hours late. Their dinner reservation was long past. On the way to the restaurant, he had considered that she might be angry, so he had stopped at a jewelry store and bought her a diamond necklace as an apology. She was so easy to please. A necklace and an apology would make her forgive all his transgressions. But this time was different. He knew he had gone too far lately. She was really angry. Without a second thought, he drove back to the apartment they shared. He held on to a sliver of hope the whole way. Maybe she was just at home, sulking. But when he got there, he found the red dress he had given her that morning in the trash, and she and her luggage were gone. Her phone was off, and she wasn't replying to his messages. He panicked and immediately called his assistant to track her down. With his resources, it should have been easy, but this time, she seemed to have been prepared. His assistant found nothing. He finally understood. Her packing wasn't for a business trip. She had been planning to leave him all along. Unable to find her, his first thought was to go to her company. She was always very popular. When her colleagues heard he was looking for her, they all came over, curious about their relationship. He gave a bitter smile. I'm her boyfriend. They all exchanged glances. We've never heard her say she has a boyfriend. If you're really her boyfriend, why have we never seen you? Usually, couples pick each other up after work. Do you have a picture of you two together to prove it? We can't just give out her information to a stranger. He scrolled through his phone for a long time, but he couldn't find a single decent photo of them together. After all, even though he had pursued her for so many years, they hadn't been together for very long, and during that time, he had always told her to keep their relationship a secret, so even though they were a couple, very few people knew. The company was a dead end, so he gathered all his friends at a club. She's gone. His voice was hoarse. In the days since he couldn't find her, he hadn't eaten or slept. He had lost a lot of weight. He hadn't even had time to shave. His friends were confused. Gone? You mean, she dumped you? He didn't say anything. They all exchanged glances. Someone suddenly shouted, "Isn't that a good thing? Now that Olivia is back, and she seems to have feelings for you. This Chloe girl is so ungrateful. It's better to just get rid of her." The moment he finished speaking, he suddenly stood up and kicked over the table in front of him. "What did you just say?" The guy was so scared he fell to the floor, stammering, "Liam, what's wrong?" His eyes were bloodshot. "Who gave you the right to talk about Chloe like that?" He went on a rampage, smashing everything in the room. The entire table was overturned, and all the glassware was swept to the floor. His friends all rushed over to restrain him. "Liam, calm down." He didn't know what was wrong with him. He couldn't reach her, and he was filled with an inexplicable rage. He had never thought he liked her. To him, she was just a bet, a prize. He had won, so he got her. Besides that, he had no other. Damn it. His forehead veins bulged, and he punched the wall. Just then, Olivia walked in. She was shocked by the scene. "Liam, what's wrong? Just because Chloe left, is it really worth all this?" The moment she spoke, he looked at her in disbelief. What did you say? She was unfazed. It's exactly what it sounds like. I heard about it a long time ago. You only pursued her because of a bet. Now the bet is over. So what if she's gone? She's so shameless, clinging to you even though I'm back. If I hadn't reminded her the other day, she'd probably still be bothering you. With that, she threw her arms around him. Now she's gone, and no one is bothering us. Isn't that a good thing? He was completely stunned. He looked at her in disbelief. What did you mean by reminded her? She was nonchalant. The day we went to the movies, I texted her and made sure she saw us together. Honestly, she's a little too shameless. She saw us together and still didn't leave. Just watched from her car for half an hour. At her words, he finally understood why she had never gone to the restaurant that day. He suppressed his anger and looked at her, his fists clenched, but she was oblivious, still clinging to his arm. Good thing she's got some sense. Otherwise, the moment he heard her name, he finally snapped. He pushed her to the ground. She was stunned. Liam, what are you doing? Shut up, he gritted out. I'm telling you, Olivia, if I can't find Chloe, you're dead. With that, he stormed out of the room, not even looking back at her. No matter how much she cried and screamed, he didn't turn back. Since I started at the branch office, my days had been filled with work. There were so many things to do, and I had to sort through them one by one. It was hard, but it was also very rewarding. In the midst of all the work, I had almost forgotten about my past with him, until he appeared at the company entrance. As I was leaving work, I ran into him, waiting at the door. He was a powerful man. It wouldn't be hard for him to find me, so when I saw him, I didn't feel much of anything. I just walked around him and left. Seeing that I was about to leave, he immediately rushed forward and knelt before me with a thud. Babe, his voice was hoarse. He had lost a lot of weight, and there were dark circles under his eyes. It was clear he hadn't been sleeping well. I was annoyed. Don't call me that. It's disgusting. He immediately corrected himself. Chloe, I was wrong. I really know I was wrong. The day I went to see Olivia, it was because she lied to me and said she was sick. There's really nothing between us. Please believe me. Okay, if you just trust me this one time, I promise I'll never do it again. His words were sincere, and with him kneeling before me, a crowd started to gather. Perhaps in his mind, this was a very sincere gesture, but to me, it was just emotional blackmail. If you like kneeling so much, you can just stay here and kneel. With that, I turned and walked away. He seemed to have not expected me to be so decisive. He was stunned for a moment, then quickly stood up and chased after me. Chloe, I stopped and turned around. I slapped him across the face, looking at the red handprint on his cheek. I wiped my hand with disgust, but he grabbed my wrist. Chloe, does this make you feel better? He turned his other cheek to me. If this makes you feel better, then hit me. I won't fight back. I quickly pulled my hand away. The way he was acting, I was afraid I would actually enjoy hitting him. Seeing that I was ignoring him, he became anxious. Chloe, I really want to apologize to you. That day, I really was tricked by Olivia. I thought she was sick, so I went to see her. You can hit me, you can yell at me, just don't leave me. Okay, I've only just realized that I can't live without you. His voice even choked up a little, and I wanted to laugh. So, you got there, found out she wasn't sick, and then you just happened to have coffee with her and watch a movie. Is that it? Liam, you make me sick. His eyes darted away, but he still had the nerve to block my path. It was all Olivia's fault. She seduced me, but there's really nothing between us. Chloe, just trust me this one time. Okay, let's go back. Let's start over. I laughed. Start over. Start over. So I can listen to you and your scumbag friends make lewd comments about me again. So you can treat me like a prize to be bet on. Or maybe you're planning on disappearing again, to travel with Olivia, and then make up some excuse about your grandpa being sick. He seemed to not have expected me to know about these things. He was stunned for a moment. How did you know? The moment the words left his mouth, he realized his mistake. I took out my phone and played a recording. It was a recording I had made outside the private room. In the recording, his and his friends' mocking voices were crystal clear. His face went white. He quickly shook his head. That's not it. It was just a joke. I never really thought that. Maybe at first it was because of the bet, but then I really did fall in love with you. Chloe, please forgive me for being young and stupid. Let's start over. This time, it'll be good to you. Chloe, he kept calling my name, and listening to his voice, I just felt a wave of disgust. Is that so? I smiled at him. Then you can take your joke and go to hell. He pestered me for a long time. In the end, Even the passers-by couldn't stand it and took out their phones to call the police for me. When the police arrived, he was finally taken away. And when I got home, the first thing I saw on the trending topics was a video of our argument on the street. The video was blurry, but many people still recognized him. After all, he was the young master of the Mills Corporation, the future heir to the entire company. I posted the article I had already written online. It detailed everything between us, including how he had used me as a bet, how he had disappeared the day after we started dating, how he had abandoned me for Olivia. The moment I posted it, it caused a huge uproar. Many netizens started digging up dirt on him and Olivia, and the more they dug, the more they found. Even her bullying of a classmate in high school was exposed. She used to be the campus belle. Now, she was a popular actress promoted by an entertainment company. All this dirt had been covered up, but now, because of the video of him kneeling before me, it was all being brought to light. For a time, he and Olivia were both being slammed on the trending topics. She immediately started doing crisis PR, but before she could suppress it, he posted an apology video, and even bought a large screen to play it on a loop. At the end of the video, he looked at the camera with a devoted expression. "I'm sorry, Chloe," and I just felt a chill. After that, because of his negative press, the Mills family's stock plummeted. He was removed from the list of heirs to the company, and Olivia, because of her bullying of a classmate in high school, was blacklisted. He came to find me several times. I always avoided him. The last time I heard about him was in the news. Olivia, the once popular actress, had started drinking heavily after being blacklisted. One night, she secretly broke into his home. They got into an argument, and in the end, both of them fell from the upper floor, one dead, one injured. He died on the spot, and Olivia became a vegetable. When I saw the news, a new batch of interns had just started at the branch office. Seeing me staring at the news, they started gossiping. "I remember this Liam guy. The last time I saw him was in that apology video. I think the person he was apologizing to works at our company. Chloe, do you know who it is?" I just shook my head. No. I then turned and threw myself back into my work. Time is long, and the future is bright.